Welcome back, dear listeners, to the Ghost Queen's House of Horrors. Today we have a few true stories to read as we wander on into our sweet nightmares in this house of horror. First up was written by a deleted user. Before my dad died, he once told me a story from when he was in Vietnam in the 1960s. He told me about a mission where he and one other American with 5 CIDG strikers, which are South Vietnamese villagers turned fighters, were tasked to emplace seismic ground sensors along a trail network deep in the jungle. He said they were about 2 days into the mission when he and 2 of the strikers split off from the main group to go watch a nearby trail intersection. The jungle was pretty quiet that day. It was just the sounds of the birds and bugs and an occasional monkey. He said they had been watching the trail intersection for about 3 or 4 hours and were deciding on whether to move further down the trail or to turn back and link up with the rest of the patrol. Before leaving the cover of the brush, my dad said that he had checked the trail ahead of him one last time while he prepared his men to move. Now here is where the story gets interesting. And he told this part with absolute seriousness. He said, just as he started to step onto the trail, he said he sees a light-skinned black Union cavalry soldier in full battle gear just laying alongside the trail, just shy of the intersection. My dad said the Union soldier had 2 pistols, a Spencer rifle, and a short, curved club at his hip. As my dad was trying to process what he was seeing, the soldier looked directly at him and smiled. Then the soldier slowly placed a finger up to his lips, as if to tell him to be silent, and then motioned my dad back off the trail. My dad said he signaled for his men to remain hidden, and he recalled that as he slipped back into the jungle on one side of the trail, the Union soldier did the same on his side of the trail. Less than 10 seconds later, he said the lead element of a group of NVA, North Vietnamese Army soldiers, walked right through the trail intersection some 30 feet away. My dad estimated this group was comprised of 70 to 80 soldiers equipped with automatic rifles, light machine guns, and rocket-propelled grenade launchers. He had no doubt his entire team would have been wiped out on the spot. He said as soon as the enemy soldiers passed, he and his team beat feet out of there so fast and quietly as they could and rejoined the rest of the patrol. He reported the enemy soldiers he encountered, but decided not to say anything about the soldier he had seen. My dad kept that secret for many, many years, only telling me just before he passed, and earlier, only telling his grandmother on her deathbed in the 1970s. He said that his grandmother told him. She smiled, and without opening her eyes, she said, Oh, you saw old Red Tom. Red Tom was my great-great-grandfather. He was a half-black, half-Creek freeman who was a scout for the Union Army during the Civil War and later served with the U.S. Cavalry in the American West. He was known for carrying 2 pistols, a Spencer rifle, and a Creek war club into battle. Alright, next up is written by Krampopoulos Delphiki. A female friend in college disappeared from a party at another university in the city town 25-ish miles north of our school. She had arrived with another friend who I believe was the one who drove. At some point, she split off to play cornhole or something and was just gone. Phone calls went to voicemail, police were called, but she was missing. About 10 days later, she was found by a homeless man who witnessed her crawling up to a bus station in the city begging for help. She had a broken leg and arm and was in very bad shape. At the quite large party, her drink had been secretly drugged, and then she was led off by a group of men into their vehicle. She was taken to an apartment where she was drugged, assaulted, and locked in a small room with a bucket to use as a bathroom. At one point, after being injected with heroin, she somehow managed to convince one of her captors to allow her to use the actual bathroom to clean herself up. This bathroom had a very small window to the outside, and with the shower running, she managed to squeeze out and fell from the 3rd story into a large bush. From there, she crawled from the apartment complex to the road and bus stop, where the homeless man saw her and called the police. Many cars stopped upon seeing her, making her captives unable to recapture her. 3 men were later arrested for the crime after surveillance cameras allowed police to locate the apartment she jumped from. She actually returned to her university 2 years later. She graduated and became a nurse. She was obviously traumatized and never partied again, carried a gun everywhere she went, but somehow moved on with life. It was a terrifying tale none of us ever forgot. She was 18 years old, a freshman, when this happened. Alright. This one is by The Legend of Mike. Not as scary as some of the stories here, but I was pretty horrified when my dad told me the story. There are some really big houses in the woods in my hometown. One of the owners went out drinking with his buddies and realized he forgot the key to the gate when he got home. So he decided just to climb the gate. While he was climbing in his drunken state, he slipped and got his leg pierced by one of the spikes on the gate. He was hanging in there, too afraid to call for his wife, since he was sure she would just open the automatic gate from inside the house, and since it was one of those gates that slides to the side, it would just rip his leg off if she did. He was hanging there the entire night until his wife woke up, saw him and called the fire department. My dad, who was one of the firefighters, said they had to saw the spike to get him off. Can you imagine hanging from your own gate all night, not being able to call for help? Alright, this is the last one for the night, dear listeners. Written by Super Doug. 100% true, as it happened to me. It's probably more spooky than scary. I'll let you be the judge. Many years ago, before there were cell phones, we had these things called pagers strapped to our hips. Someone would page you with their telephone number and you would call them back when you got to a phone. As a on-call technician working in the audiovisual field, my pager would go off all of the time. Like most people who use pagers, our clients knew that if you followed your number with 911, that would indicate to a technician to stop what they were doing and call right away. Although I was always busy, I rarely ever got 911s. One afternoon, traveling from Orlando to St. Petersburg via Interstate 4, my pager goes off with a number I don't recognize, followed by 911. I find the first exit and pull into a little truck stop looking outside of Plant City to use the payphone. This takes maybe 3 minutes tops. I walk in, ask for some change, and head to the wall where there are 4 payphones to choose from. I pop my quarter in and dial the number displayed on my trusty pager. It rings and rings and rings and rings. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Who would page me 911 and not answer my phone? It's just about then that I notice another ringing sound in addition to the one in my ear. I pull the handset from my ear and 2 phones over on the wall. Another payphone is ringing, but with an incoming call. So I hang up my handset and the ringing stops on the other phone. I walk a few paces over, pick up the handset, look at the number printed above the buttons. I look at the number on my pager, the number on the phone, the number on my pager. I look at the phone again. Except for the 911, they are identical. I kind of lose my breath for a second, then make my way over to the girl at the counter and ask if she saw anyone use the payphone. She said I was the only person in the store for the last hour. This whole episode probably took 15 minutes, but man, I was freaked out. The hair on the back of my neck was standing up straight and I just wanted to get out of there. I get about 10 miles down the highway and come upon a scene that looked like a bomb went off. A 4-car pile up involving a tractor trailer hauling a load of steel that had come loose. State troopers and paramedics had just begun arriving. I pulled over to the side and helped the best I could, but it was pretty much over once it began. I still have no idea why I got that page or whom or what it was from, but I'm convinced that if I hadn't, I would not be alive to write this today. Alright, dear listeners, that's the end of our readings for spooky true stories. Sweet nightmares and good night.